Welcome, everybody. Luxury Fridays. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. It is a kind of a rainy, gloomy day here in Chicago. You're in the right place. If you're a real estate agent, you're a team leader, or you're a consumer, somebody that is thinking about selling or buying real estate in the Chicagoland market or outside of Chicagoland, and you have questions real estate related, well, then you're in the right place. So if you're watching a replay of this or you're curious, we do have other replays on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is simply at Luxury Specialist, or you can go to, I'll put it right on the screen right there, youtube.com/ at Luxury Specialist. If you hit that subscribe button, you'll be notified whenever we have additional Luxury Fridays. Typically, they are at the same time and the same place, which is Fridays at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern. If there's a conflict, we might change up those times, but I'm excited to bring a guest on here in a few minutes. I actually have a couple guests going to be joining me today, but the primary guest I met a few weeks back, about a month ago now, and it was in Houston at our luxury designation training. But before I go into that, just a reminder, if you guys have questions, please type in your questions in the comment section. If you have questions for me, you have questions for our guest. Again, some weeks we don't have any guests. We're just topic specific. Other weeks we bring on experts, maybe strategic partners, people that can help you as a broker, a team leader, an individual agent, sell more real estate. And we haven't had any consumers on, but we'd love to have various guests on to help fill the voids in the industry and help raise the bar in the industry. There are no easy buttons. As the market is shifting, there's a lot of agents that are looking for this easy button. There are no easy buttons. Again, during a difficult market, the consumer is going to rely on the expert, the consultant, not the generalist, but the specialist. And so that's what we teach agents, to increase your knowledge, increase the tools and resources you can bring to the consumer, and work smarter, not harder. For those of you that are watching on Instagram, you should be able to see. It should be on YouTube and it should be on all the live. Mike Russo, I see your comment, but I have people watching it on YouTube as well. So go to our Facebook page, Marketing Luxury Group, or go to our YouTube page, Marketing Luxury Group, and it's streaming live there. Or you just go to youtube.com/ at Luxury Specialist. Again, the best way for my Instagram viewers to ask a question is you can do it on Instagram, but chances are I won't see it. So type your questions in on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or go to luxuryfridays.com, and you click on that top link. It'll redirect you over to my YouTube channel. All right. So I want to set the stage. As the market shifts, you as an agent have to do some fresh eyes analysis on the properties that you represent. I'm just in the middle of going through thoroughly our Instagram, our YouTube, our Facebook, our Google page, to make sure that we are optimized and links are correct and everything is consistent across the brands from a marketing standpoint. And so you as an agent need to do that as well. You got to Google yourself. You got to look at all of your social media channels to make sure it's optimized. And so I share that with you from the standpoint of two things. One, you want to make sure that you are positioned properly, but two, it's a good exercise for what we're going to be talking about today with my guest, Lauren. Lauren has a $1.375 million property, and she took our class. And one of the things that I challenge agents is to go back at your properties that have sold, but more importantly, the current properties that you have on the market or those that you are going on the market with, to make sure they're optimized. How can you position the home more effectively online, offline? And that's important. Hey, Dugan, thanks for joining. And Dr. Shaw, I see you're on. awesome. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Type in the comments section, and I appreciate that. So, Lauren has got a property, and I'm going to bring her on, and she can share a little bit about the history of the home, what kind of activity, and this is what I call my fresh eyes analysis. And so we're going to do a fresh eyes analysis on a property that Lauren has had on. Vanessa, thanks for joining from Houston, and we have others joining all over on different platforms. We also have a lot of agents that reach out to me and say, hey, we watched the replay as I had a conflict. So if that's you and you're watching a replay, do me a favor, leave us a like, leave us a review. Again, we have these guests on. They're not paid, they're not compensated. We're doing it to bring more value to you. So if you're getting value, please let us know. Leave us a like, leave us a review, leave us a comment, and we appreciate it. We have Coral Springs, Florida on Instagram, and we have others that are watching on Instagram too. So appreciate you guys. I know you can't see the screen and you can't see my guests. So if you want to see the guests and you want to type in questions, go to our YouTube channel and you'll be able to do that there. All right, for those who are watching, again, you are in the right place if you're looking to work smarter, not harder. And so I have Lauren on, and Lauren's going to talk about her listing, but I want you to substitute her listing for your potential listings or properties that you've watched, or excuse me, properties that you've marketed, and you let me know later if you think you have a property that you'd like to do this fresh eyes analysis on as well. All right, so we're going to bring on Lauren here. There's Lauren. Lauren, say hello to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
And Lauren, specifically, where in Texas are you located today?
I am in Houston, in the heart of Houston. So, hey, Vanessa, would love to know you.
Awesome. So you are in the heart of Houston, and we had an event down there 3 weeks ago, a month ago, and that's where you and I met. You came through the class. It was a full day training. It was our Lux training, and perhaps later you can share a takeaway or two from that. But one thing that did stand out because you approached me is, hey, you have this property that's on the market, and I'm going to show it here in a minute. But tell everybody a little bit about the property, how long you had it on, and how you brought it to my attention. And I bring in a lot of these books, and I'll show the audience these books we're referring to, these before and after books, these case studies. And did that prompt you to say, aha, oh, I should be doing this?
It absolutely did. And matter of fact, I'm trying to think, futuristically and not retrospectively, because I'm kicking myself. I've had so many great opportunities. I'm such a huge proponent of staging and just dressing up a house and dressing up a space. And I've not done that in the past. So that was a really big takeaway. So never again will I have I had this one listed before I came to the class, but always going forward, even if it's minor tweaks, I will always be collecting that information for a great book because it's a brilliant idea. And, you talked about this. I think you said 90% of people cannot visualize things. And so I do.
You're absolutely right. They can't visualize, right? Mm-hmm. Agents, buyers, 10% can visualize, 90% only know what they see. And so having these case studies, these books is really important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this listing in particular is in a really popular area of Houston. It's in the Heights. It's also zoned to what is said to be, a really, really great elementary school. So it's got some great things going for it. It's very common in this area of Houston, this particular neighborhood. There's historic areas, and it's very common to have this style of home that is a bungalow, probably from the 20s, 30s, that's been added onto. Some are done really well. Some are not done as well. This one, I would say there are aspects to it that were done very well. There is a little bit of disconnect in the way the first floor feels. The first floor feels like an old bungalow, but updated, right? So it's certainly It's pretty, it's fresh, but it's got the old hardwood floors. You can tell they're old. It's a particular style, right? It's that craftsman style that a lot of people really like. Now the upstairs is beautiful. It's stunning. You'll see the photos of the big great room up there with all of the natural light. It's really cool. It does feel a bit more modern than the downstairs does. So there's a tiny bit of disconnect there. Other things, the seller has only been there about a year and a half, and it's really to nothing that they didn't love about the home. They decided to buy 2 acres out close to grandma. But certainly people are seeing that there was a significant price hike, right? Just in that short period of time. But the sellers did go in and replace all of the old bungalow windows. They put about $50,000 to $60,000 into the house in a year. But I get very few showings on this house. I'm doing a big open house event at your recommendation this weekend. We're doing cookie decorating and fun yard games and stuff. I've sent out 640 mailers to people in
Wow.
the area. So we're hoping for goodness. We're a great turnout, but I just have really not gotten traction. And I'm on the fence because a couple of agents have reached out to me who have listings in the area, and they're like, hey, are you getting any traffic? It's so slow. So there's a part of me that says, okay, it's the market, we're okay. But then there's a part of me that says, houses are still selling, just not mine. So definitely a fresh eyes analysis is greatly appreciated. I'll tell you this too, and then I will let you jump in. It was lived in when we first listed it. So we did a combination of their things, and my stager came in. It looked pretty good. They moved out about a month later, and it was, going to be very piecemeal. So I just said, okay, let's go ahead and take everything out. I then realized that people were kind of struggling with this space. The primary bedroom isn't really big enough for a king size bed and 2 side tables, that type of thing. So it is now restaged. Relisted. It's been on the market a total of 90.
It's restaged, and these photos here depict that.
Yes.
Okay.
Been on the market 93 days.
93 days. So when did you relaunch it with the new photos?
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
And I did get a showing yesterday.
And when was the last showing before yesterday?
Oh, maybe 3 weeks prior to that.
Okay, so that's great. Okay, so a couple of things I mentioned earlier, these before and afters. Like part of what we do in our trainings is we help agents position their properties more effectively. So these are actual books. I have different style books. This is a French country example where we are helping agents de-free, in this case, de-free French country, the home. In other words, French country is a lot of yellows, a lot of blues. Well, maybe somebody loves the home, but they don't like the decorating, and they focus too much on the French country decorating. And so the before and after books, that's one example. This was a home seller that was very eccentric. She had pillows on her ceiling in the master bedroom. And so we painted, we neutralized, and so before and after books. So, Lauren and I discussed, and she shared how she wished she had some of these before and afters. So when she went on the appointment, she could really get through to the seller a little bit easier. Because again, many sellers are focused on getting top dollar. Some are time, right? Some want to be sold yesterday. And for those types of sellers, the cash offers, the iBuyers, those selling it as is. But that's a small minority of sellers. Most sellers are, I want top dollar. And the best way to get top dollar is to position a home so that a larger pool of buyers can mentally move in. So Lauren and I talked a little bit about this. So you've been on 92 days. How many showings have you had in 92 days approximately?
5.
Okay, 5 showings in 92 days.
Very slow for this area.
And okay, so I'm going to walk Lauren through an exercise right now, but I'm also not just walking Lauren through this exercise. I'm watching you that at our home watching this or watching the replay of this. So Lauren, first off, the asking price is $1,375,000, as you can see from here, right? $1,375,000. Okay, is that your suggested price or the seller's suggested price?
That's mine.
Okay, so what did the sellers think?
They were okay with it. It's a collaboration. I will say we had it listed too high the first, pardon me, the first go around. It wasn't too high for 9 months ago,
Yeah.
but it was too high. We listed this right, I mean, right as the market was turning, and it was too high. I think that where it is now is a much more
So where
realistic.
did you start out at?
145.
Okay, so 75
Mhm.
higher. And did you ask them before you gave a price what price they think? And if so, what was that price
Initially, or when we relisted.
initially?
It was a joint conversation. I think that this one in particular, usually there is a difference of like what I would recommend and what this was a joint conversation. We looked at the comps, we looked at the price per square foot, and agreed to list it at 145. And everybody felt good about that. And also on the note of let's do this, and if we don't get traction, let's get some feedback from the market. We will make an adjustment quickly if that's what we need to do, and it is what we needed to do.
Good. Yeah. So, and when did you make that adjustment from 145 to 1375? You've been on 92 days. How many days into that approximately?
So actually, I can tell you that right here. It wasn't this last time. It wasn't 2 days ago. It was 54 days in.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. 54 days in. Okay.
Mhm.
So you've been on at this price for 38 days. Uh, so five showings. Any second showings?
No. Yes, we had one lady come through an open house and then came back to another open house. So.
Okay. All right. So a couple things, not knowing the area, not knowing what is normal in that area as far as lot sizes and look of a home, etc.
Mhm.
Um, so this is fresh, raw analysis. Did we prepare for any of this, Lauren? Okay, so this is fresh
No.
analysis, and so the reason I wanted to be a fresh analysis, and I didn't even look at the link of these photos until she sent it to me 20 minutes ago, is is if I'm a buyer moving from wherever and they don't know the area, that's how you got to look at it. You can't
Mm.
make assumptions that the buyer's local. You can't make assumptions that they know that this was an addition or this was part of the house. Like you have to almost go from a ground zero standpoint when positioning this home. So I'm going to ask some questions further. And again, I have Lauren on. Lauren is an agent in Houston, and Lauren submitted this $1.375 million property. If you will, it's a stale listing. They haven't had a lot of activity. They didn't have many showings. They just had a showing when she relaunched it with the new photos, which is great.
Mhm.
When I say relaunch, did you relist it or did you just throw new photos on there so they seamlessly were updated?
I relisted it with the new photos.
Awesome. And that was something that we talked about, correct?
Mhm.
At the class. So this is a good reminder for those of you that are watching. If the home seller did some updates and they finally said, fine, I'll stage or I'll paint, or you updated some photos, if you just update those without a price adjustment or a cancel and relist, it's not going to have the same kind of impact. It won't. And so I have a young lady watching on Instagram right now that I'm co-marketing a unit in the Trump Towers. And we just did that earlier this week when we had a broker slash virtual tour at the property. We wanted to change up the photos a little bit because we are in a dating app, right? And if somebody's on the smartphone, they're swiping right, left, and their attention span is at less than a goldfish, research suggests. Okay, so you have to get their attention. So let me ask you, your first picture in the MLS, which is right here,
Mhm.
when it was listed before, was it this one?
Yes. And I
Okay.
can tell you the thought behind that if you're curious.
Yes.
Well, I had a conversation yesterday with an expert in the area, and he said that the front, so actually, when I relisted, I had a picture of the living room because I think it looks so good. But the picture of just the front of the house does not look like a 3,500 square foot house. It just looks like a tiny bungalow.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so we went ahead and put this side photo in to show that it really is a nice size home for this area.
Okay, can I make a suggestion?
Of course.
All right, I would recommend you get a drone shot of the front of the house. Uh, Personally, I'm not a fan of this main photo, and I understand why you did it based on what you just shared with me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, if I look at, and let me,
I don't like it either. I actually
if
had
I
it
look at
last
this
photo.
home, if I just look at this picture, I would agree it doesn't look like a 3,200 square foot home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It shows great character. I love the front porch and the swing. It's very inviting. The lights on, green grass. But I would recommend a drone shot of the front photo, because by being a little bit up, not real high, but even if it's, 40 feet up looking down at a 20-degree angle, you get the curb appeal, you get the depth of the property, and as opposed to this main shot currently where you got a lot of concrete. It doesn't look warm and inviting. And so that's my recommendation. And you can still do that. You don't have to cancel and relist. You can swap it out. But I might reach out to a company that does drones and get a couple drones. Now, the
Okay.
downside of a drone is, excuse me, let me go back here. I'm going the wrong way. The downside of a drone is you're going to see the neighbors on each side, and you're going to say, well, shoot, I don't have a lot of frontage. I don't have a lot of privacy. The neighbors are all on each other. Okay, that's the downside. But there are some things you can do with uh, with drone shots where they can gray out those other areas, and so the color is just on the house itself.
Okay.
I'd probably make that recommendation. I'm not a big fan of the first photo.
Okay.
The first couple photos are key, not just for Lauren, but anybody that's watching this live or a replay. Why are the first couple pictures key? Because if they don't like pictures 1 through 3, they're not going to look 4 through 6, let alone 30 or 32.
So,
Uh,
Michael, which photo should I put in the front between now and when I can get the drone photo up?
One more time, I'm sorry.
What's the best photo to use as the front photo for now until I can get the drone footage?
So that's a good question. So let me look.
That's the one I had, just the
Right.
living room.
Yeah, you had the main one. So let me go back. I mean, I personally, I still like this one better, only because if it's 1.375, I'm hoping they're not just skipping next. I'm hoping they at least look at some bullet points: bedrooms, bath, square footage. Okay,
Okay.
that's my goal. Um, So, did you say it was purchased? I got a question from some of the viewers. Was the house purchased a year ago? And if so, what was that purchase price? When did they buy the home?
They bought the home in May or June of 2019 or 2020. No, 2020.
Okay, so we're at 2.5 years now, about 2.5 years. What have they done to improve the home, and what did they pay then, and how much did they invest, and is it documented?
They paid 1.1 and they replaced the old windows in the whole first floor.
Okay,
It was $45,000. They
okay,
replaced the sewer line to the city, which was another $13,000. They did not stain the first floor hardwoods because they were old, and we were told that that wasn't actually a very good idea to sand them again. But they did reseal them so that they're protected. There's a couple of other smaller things that they did, and it is documented, and it is in the attachments.
okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. And Larry's question was great, because a buyer, especially a buyer not from the area, or maybe a buyer moving from a market that wasn't hot, they do care about what somebody paid and what they have into it. Should they? I'm not suggesting they should, because Lauren, as you know, your client 2 years ago could have paid 1.6, and if you were trying to let me know it's a great value, say, hey, they got 1.6 into it, we're only on for 1.375. Of course, a buyer is going to say, well, it's only worth what the market says it's going to be worth. forth. So a buyer discredits when a seller has a lot more into it, but they do focus on when they have less than that into it,
Mhm.
unfortunately. So that's why Larry brought that question up.
Mhm.
Mike Russo, hey, thanks, Mike. Yeah, we've number real estate is a numbers game. Don't get me wrong, Mike. Like we're just talking about price per square foot is a factor and analytics in the market is, but how you position a home, I think, is where you hit those hot buttons, right? Um, and Mike has got some great data he shared. He said the homes in this zip code between 1.2 and 1.5 that sold in the last 3 months are much newer. So you
So
do
this addition, just to note that the addition was built and the house
back here,
updated in 2019.
right here, this addition right here.
Right. So there's quite a few things in the house, the plumbing, the addition, all of that was at 2019.
Okay. So if do you mind if I am devil's advocate here with you?
Of course.
So a couple things. If you talk with appraisers will tell you the same thing. Now, let's just say this was, well, the addition's a second story, but when an appraiser comes to a home and they're appraising a home, the price per square foot on the main level, they will usually give a premium to, and then the second level, the second floor is less than the first. If there's a third level on some of these single family homes, that has a less price per square foot than the second. Okay. So where I'm going with you is Mike brought up that newer construction homes over the last 3 months in the 1.2 to 1.5 have sold. Um, they're much newer, and so that was his point. My point with what I'm going at right now is that a home that has a natural floor plan and is consistently updated and is the same age throughout
Mhm.
is more desirable and usually appraised at a higher standpoint than a home that's similar square footage, but there is an addition that naturally doesn't look the part or flow properly.
Got
So
it.
my point is, and you can't change this, you're the agent, you're the
Mhm.
marketer, but this is you and I having a conversation now, Lauren, because you, not now maybe, but when you go on that listing appointment, when you're discussing price, when you're factoring in price, you can't look at just apples and apples with other comparables, because in this case the addition isn't a natural flow. It cosmetically it stands out, and from a floor plan standpoint, you go through the main portion of the house to get to the addition port or get upstairs. And so is that's got to be factored into a true comparable. That is, how many square feet is this home? It's 3580. So
Mhm.
when you're looking at another 3580, you know, theirs is probably a natural 3580, or if it's an addition, might be bumped off the back and it flows properly. Where in this case, it stands out that they went up off to the right.
Mhm.
So just sharing that with you again from your standpoint, and hey, I'm marketing this home. How does that affect me now, 92 days into it?
Mhm.
Well, it affects you now, 92 days into it. So the market will dictate price, and you've adjusted the price a little bit, but you have newer homes that are on. Again, yes, this is newer. It's only 3 years old, but this is 102 years old, right? So you have to be devil's advocate. So if you're my seller, Lauren, and I'm role playing with you, I'd say, hey, Lauren, we got feedback from the showing the other day. I'm having this event. Part of the reason I'm having this big event, Lauren, is to get agents in here so they can see firsthand how beautiful and all the updates and you've done to this home, right? And so I share that with you, Lauren, because ultimately it doesn't matter what I think. Ultimately, Lauren, it doesn't matter what you think. The market will dictate what they think of the home, the price, and the agents that are going to be coming through. They ultimately are working with the buyers directly. Okay, so it does matter what the buyer's agents think that are going to come through this event we're having. And
Mhm.
so if I were you, I would have a survey, and I would make sure that that survey is filled out before they have the mimosa, before they have the water, before they have the lunch. Okay, and I would make an announcement to everybody. Hey, thank you so much, Lauren, for coming through my property here on Teach Horn Street. Do me a favor, take a tour of the home. including the addition on the back that's only 3 years old. And once you've done that, please fill out the survey. And as a thank you for your time in filling out the survey, Lauren, we do have a mimosa. We have this, we have that as a thank you. Because this is me now talking to you as an agent. You're not running a food pantry. You're not just feeding these agents and they come here to socialize. You are hosting this because you want the feedback. You want them in there, but you want the feedback. And as a thank you for them filling this out thoroughly, you are thanking them with food or the mimosa or whatever you're serving.
Would the same process be true for this particular open house? Is actually for like consumers, not just agents. It's not a broker open, but this same process applied.
Yeah, well, no, no, it's not. The same process does not apply for the general public. You want to build rapport with the general public. Yes, you want to sell this home, but statistically, 90% of them won't be interested. So when they leave there, you want them to say, "Wow, Lauren is great. We're not working with an agent. She's got this app that can send me properties on my mobile or whatever. We should consider Lauren to purchase." Or, you know what, I was so impressed with her literature and her knowledge. We're thinking about selling in the spring. We should consider Lauren. Or, we've been selling for some time with our current agent. Lauren seems pleasant. Maybe we should interview her for a second opinion. Like your goal is to build rapport, and with the consumer. So the general open house, you won't necessarily do the survey. You can, but I'm referring to the broker open. Now, you could kill two birds with one stone and invite brokers to the open house, and they fill out that survey.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'm going to be typing in a link right now for anybody that wants to jump on, ask Lauren a question. I have a gentleman, Dugan, that might be coming on here, and we got about 10, 15 minutes left here. So I want to be respectful for Lauren's time. Does anybody have any questions today for Lauren? She's got this really cool, I dropped in the link for the property, really cool listing. Here's the link if you want to know which one. You can copy and paste. If you have a buyer looking in Houston, she'd love to work with you, and I'm sure she'll cheerfully pay your referral fee.
Absolutely.
But Lauren, while you have me, want to pick my brain on anything while I wait for questions? Or if Dugan, if you're on and you want to jump on here in a minute, I'll bring you on for a minute or two.
I do have have a quick thought I'd love your opinion on.
Please.
What I would also like to do when I get the drone shot is do a floor plan, because what I'm also realizing from the last handful of showings we have had, they're definitely out of staters. So I'm thinking, okay, this listing is getting eyes from people moving in from out of Houston. It might be really helpful to have a floor plan.
Yeah, so a floor plan can be helpful. My philosophy is I love video over the 3D floor plan tours. I'm a big video fan. You can highlight the front porch. You can point out a few things while you got them on video. You're highlighting. I'm looking at this map because I don't know, Houston that well, but you're highlighting the parks and the locations in the area. In the video, you can streamline that. The problem is, with the virtual tour, especially with the 3,500 square foot home, where the original part of the home is how many square feet?
Oh, original part? Probably 1,000, 1,200.
So it's 1,000 square feet plus that addition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you blink and you're through the main component of the home, right? So my concern with the floor plan is a little bit that. So for you're really trying to hit those emotional buttons. It's turnkey. It's got the newer feel. It's got an amazing location. So I like video over 3D tours personally. So anyways, hey, Dugan, I see that you're saying that you're here, but I don't see in the studio where I can bring you on camera. So click on that link, copy that link that I dropped in this comment section, and I'll bring you on camera in a minute, Dugan. Otherwise, just type your question away. All right, so Lauren, I recommend video over 3D tours. Okay. I love what you've done with the staging. When is your open house?
It's Saturday, 10 to 1.
10 to 1, perfect. Let me know how it goes. Are you putting out a lot of directional signs? Are you inviting neighbors? Are you doing
Hmm.
a Facebook Live video maybe today in front of the homes, inviting people for tomorrow?
Hmm.
Awesome. Good. So, all right, Dugan, I see you in the studio. I'll bring you on in a minute. So that's perfect, Lauren. Um, and Lauren, what's type in, if you would, Lauren, you're in the comments section for everybody to see your website. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, they certainly can. You can just type that in the comment section. And and then any parting thoughts, any questions for Lauren, or Lauren, any parting questions for me?
I don't think so. This is really helpful. Thank you. I've got some action items.
Yeah, my recommendation is change out the main picture, get a drone shot there. I think that's going to be really important because I'm not a huge fan of picture number one. I understand your concern with picture number two, and I get it. Excuse me, picture number two is here. The home doesn't look like it's 3,500 square feet. It looks 1,000 square feet because it was before the addition. The drone will show depth, but the drone I think will help you. Keep me posted. Let me know how the open house goes, and I hope you can get it sold. And you just had a showing. What was the feedback on the showing?
They really liked it. They're still looking in the area, but there was some
Were
positive
they
feedback.
represented by another agent?
Hmm.
So I would go back to that agent and say, "Hey, thanks. I'm glad they liked it. What were their concerns? Right? Try to figure out what their concerns are, um, and you might consider a reverse offer as well. Reverse offer strategy. I don't have time to cover that today, but a reverse offer strategy would be if Lauren was the buyer's agent, and I would have a discussion with my sellers and say, "Hey, what's a price if these buyers could close by the end of the year, or at a desirable time for you, Mr. Seller? What is a price that you could live with and you'd be okay with if we have an offer on the table and a closing date that's desirable to you? I know you want to sell for 1,375, but realistically, what's hey, I could sleep at night because this is off my plate going into the holidays, and I'm using the number of 1.3. If it's 1.3, I'd say, hey, Lauren, if you're the buyer's agent, hey, Lauren, listen, my seller has given me the okay. They're willing to sell to your people based on the terms that we talked about, a closing date of ideally January 15th. They would sell to your people at 1.3 million. And as a thank you, we'd give you a 5,000, 10,000, $10,000, $20,000 bonus if we can get this deal together.
Great
Something
idea.
like that. That's called a reverse offer strategy. It's different. It's a private conversation. I can sleep better at night knowing, Lauren, that we left our best offer on the table for you and they've moved on, but at least we can focus on somebody else if it wasn't meant to be.
Okay, great idea. I love that.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're watching Luxury Fridays, Lauren. Thank you so much. Drop in your website so I can put it in here when we take you off camera. And I got Dugan Riley. I got Dugan on for a few minutes, and then Dugan, you and I will continue that afterwards. Lauren, make it a great Friday. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to stop sharing the screen here, and I got Dugan on. Dugan is, I won't go over all the details on the live stream, Dugan, with everybody, but Dugan's got a high end potential listing appointment. The seller is out of the area, but he's in the area at some point, doesn't live in the home, and he's told Dugan he wants just you to send over physical materials. He doesn't want to meet at the home yet, and he sounds like he's a little bit of a difficult seller. And is that correct so far?
Yeah, that's correct.
Pretty
Yep.
accurate. Okay.
Yeah,
So
pretty accurate. He wants to see stuff in paperwork, and then he'll move to step two. So
okay. So he expressed interest in the international market, and so he thinks there might be some buyers from India uh, or Pakistan or Dubai, or it doesn't matter at this point. But he thinks because the home's been on with the same agent for some time. How long? How many days approximately?
it's like a little, just about 1,000 days.
3 years, call it 3 years. Okay. And it hasn't sold. Okay. And so he's used to doing things. By the way, I did type in Lauren's email into the chat feature. You can email Lauren if you guys have questions, our previous guest. Uh, so, so Dugan, What his way wasn't working, the previous agent's way wasn't working. And so my recommendation to you is both a digital approach and a physical approach. I know he only wants physical, okay, but you're going to send them both, because here's why. Mr. Seller, if Dugan, you're the seller, it's very difficult to reach people in India, Dubai, and internationally by just sending a bunch of physical packages and brochures to everybody. Again, a digital strategy, working with an agent with an amazing digital strategy, is going to be key to reach people outside of the Nashville market. So we do have a physical approach, and I'll send you some additional information on us, our bio, some ways that we're going to market it locally, some examples. Um, but I'm also going to send you our digital approach for you to go through at your convenience. I'll send you a text with a link and a video, because that is going to be part of our marketing approach. And matter of fact, that's going to be a key component of our marketing approach, is the digital strategy, because we can scale and we can target people specifically with our network. So, Mr. Seller, we will send you some physical, but we are going to send you digital now, because what I don't want to do is I don't want somebody that's got the best physical package in the world to get that next opportunity with you, but they got no digital strategy. They got no video component. They don't have the international connections. So you're blown away with their package that they're sending you, but they have nothing behind it. And we do have a ton behind it, and that should be factored whether or not you're going to agree to meet with me at the home. So we're going to send you some information physically, but we're going to send you some stuff digitally, and you're going to get both. And that's why we're sending both. Okay. So that's basically the nutshell of the message. I will compile that for you, Dugan, this afternoon, a little bit later. You'll have it for me, and then we'll circle back on the physical packaging. But I want you to know that it's not just going to be physical, whether it be a text with a video message or some digital component. The reason you're doing that, Mr. Seller, is what you don't want to just hire an agent that's got a great packet of information. Okay. You want component, you want substance, and substance comes from a digital marketing standpoint, a video marketing plan standpoint, our network standpoint, our global international connection standpoint. And so we're going to send you both, because the digital component is going to be key to getting your home sold above $15 million, whatever price we decide to market at. Okay, that's going to be our message, and I'll help with that message for you, but we'll do that a little bit later. Does that sound good, Dugan?
Yep, that sounds good.
All right, so again, just giving you guys a little context, Dugan's got a big possible physical listing appointment. The guy said, hold off on that. Send me your big package of materials, and then I'll determine whether I meet with you. And so that's the objection that Dugan has to overcome, and I'm going to help him do that. And we'll circle back and have him on once we hopefully help him secure that listing. Great job. Make it a great Friday, everybody. And again, you are watching another episode of Luxury Fridays. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. If you're getting value from today, if you're getting value from these live streams, leave us a like, leave us a review. Again, same time, same place next Friday, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. Hit subscribe on our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as I mentioned to you, you can go to YouTube straight. Okay. Our channel on YouTube is Marketing Luxury Group, or you go to our handle on YouTube is @Luxury Specialist, @Luxury Specialist. Take a look at it. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. You're watching another episode of Luxury Fridays. If you have any questions for me, shoot me an email, michael@marketingluxurygroup.com, michael@marketingluxurygroup. This is the platform. This is the email to shoot me an email. Shoot me an email, michael@marketingluxurygroup, on anything you have, all things real estate related. And the market is still, there's a shortage of inventory. And those agents that are going to come out of the turbulent times over the next 6 months to a year are those agents that have a sound marketing strategy. They have a sound digital footprint. There's no easy button, but you have to put in the work, WORK, and good things will happen. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. Keep raising the bar. Make it a great day. Until next time, you're watching another episode of Luxury Fridays. Take care and prove others wrong.